Hello and welcome back to episode 9 of my MyTeam career mode with United Racing. We're back today for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which hopefully we can get a good result in. As a result of the gearbox failure at Silverstone, we are going to be having a new gearbox, which will start us from the back of the grid, most likely, given that we don't qualify outside of the bottom, don't get through to Q2 very often, I should say. So with that in mind, I'm likely going to go with a couple of other new engine parts. We're also looking at where we're going to spend our R&D points. We go for a major powertrain upgrade to try and get ERS management a bit better, and you can see on there we're going to be closing the gap on the teams above us with that. Then we're going to go through and put a few activities in. We're not too concerned about saving money at this point. We've got enough for re-signing Dan or looking elsewhere should we have the option. I think realistically it's probably going to be Dan. You can see here we've got quite a few things coming in. I think there's 2 chassis upgrades coming in throughout the week. And there comes the second one.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through.
And we'll head into the race weekend.
We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
After just having a quick look at the standings, as you see, we're currently on 12 points, 39 days until Dan's contract expires. So that's likely to be after Belgium, I believe it is. So far, we've had 3 DNFs, all due to engine failures, which is fantastic. But a 4th place finish in there as well. So, you know, positives are there. And let's head into the race weekend. After practice, we've had a decent practice so far. We then go through, take our penalty for the gearbox. We're also going to get in new control electronics. I half think about going all out, but I think for realisticness, we're going to not take all our penalties at once. We do take a new ICE though, just to take advantage of. I think our one is at 52%, so I thought it was worth doing. And then the engine 3 can become our new practice engine, and the engine 4 can become our race engine. We might even have to try and take a 5th before the end of the season, the way it's going. But there's our R&D plans. You can see it will jump us right up into the battle for kind of not being the worst team on the grid. And here we are in qualifying. We're just heading out for our first flying lap. And we've backed off a little bit too much because Daniel Ricciardo is right up the back of us, which obviously we don't want a McLaren there. He's going for an overtake down the straight rather than backing off. We can't back out of it because we've got a lap to do as well. And we come across the track a little bit too much and get contact with Ricciardo. Admittedly, that was probably on me. We've got a puncture to the rear left. We've got no front wing.
The rear left tyre has a puncture.
And it's a bit of a disaster. And now we've lost the back end as we come round the corner as well.
You've got damage to the rear wing. Recommend you box for repairs.
So disaster strikes on the first attempt of qualifying. Hopefully we can get a turnaround on the car. We did, but I forgot to resume the recording. We qualified 18th, which means we're still going to start from the back of the grid because we've took 3 component change penalties. The gearbox, control electronics, and the ICE.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. Historically, a good race for first victories with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the first time here. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Norris, Sainz, Ricciardo, Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, Vettel, Stroll, Esteban Ocon and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Russell, Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi, Tigtum, Mazepin, Fernando Alonso. They've taken a grid penalty and ace. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So, here we are on the track, starting from the back of the grid as we knew. We're looking at the personalised strategy. Softs to mediums for 25 laps does sound like it would be really pushing it. But we're going to go for it because I think we've got the tyre wear control to do that as we build up to the 5 red lights, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a good start, but then as we get going, everyone starts to pull away a little bit, not as much as they do normally. And we go for a dive into turn 1, all the way up to 17th there, as we battle Russell around the corner. And he is going to come out ahead, Giovinazzi to our left. And then into turn 3, we're going to try and go around Russell the long way. We cut back across Giovinazzi. And then into turn 5, it's a little bit aggressive on Russell and probably not very fair in reality, but nevertheless we see it through, and into this chicane we go, and we follow Ocon, who doesn't get a good exit, and we attack him aggressively, and we are past Ocon as well. Can we finish the job? We can. So now we are chasing down Raikkonen and Stroll into turn 11. We're thinking about a dive bomb into turn 12. We're going to go for it. And it's a little bit side by side through the corner, but then as we accelerate with the grip of the softs, there's nothing he can do about it. Into turn 13 and through the final corner, we see Ricciardo pitting. He must have damage on the first lap. But we're going to follow Vettel and Stroll back behind the Aston Martins where we were in Silverstone. Can we make it count this time? They're on the mediums, so as much as, yes, they have got faster cars than what we have at the moment, we still want to be able to try and attack them, really. Because we've got the quicker tyres. We've got yellow flags just ahead of us. And as we come round turn 9, we've got Tsunoda facing the wrong way. Here's what happened to him. Catches the curb and just the back end just absolutely throws itself. And there you can see us coming round the corner. We're joining us back now as we start lap 4. We've got DRS on Stroll. Too far back to go for a dive though. He's of course getting the DRS from Vettel, and we lose the back end a little bit, but we cover it very well. And we're back on the track without even losing the position to Raikkonen. And this is what we need, really, that little bit of space. You'll see here how quickly we're able to pull away from Raikkonen because of the fact that we're on the softs and that little bit of gap ahead of us, which is why really we want to clear Stroll and Vettel as soon as possible so that we can get that bit of open air prior to our pit stop. I think where Tsunoda spun, it resulted in a big gap opening up, as you can see. We do get a warning for track limits there, and then as we come round turn 11 we get another one, so we've got to be really on our behaviour for the rest of the race. We go for a dive down the side of Stroll 1 lap later on lap 5. He defends well, and then through turn 13 and 14, we're going to be in a great position to attack down the straight. Not sure if he would have got DRS there. He didn't get DRS, and we have gone for a massive dive on Stroll. It's come off though, and now we can push away, try and pull away from him, follow Vettel through, who seems to have the better of Stroll in the Aston Martins at the moment. And as we accelerate down the main straight on lap 9, Leclerc comes past us following his pit stop. We're not going to challenge him. It would be detrimental to our own race. We've pulled away from Stroll to 1.3 seconds. But now the problem we've got is Vettel going to be able to sit in the slipstream of that Red Bull and Leclerc when he does pass him and pull himself away from us. We might struggle to keep up with that combination of pace. But at the moment we're staying behind them. You can see already Leclerc pushing Vettel, and he's going to be frustrated that he can't get past right now as we come into the chicane of 6 and 7. And this is probably my weakest sector on the track, which is why here we're always struggling.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
We struggle down the main straight
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in luck you can.
because down through that middle sector, I like the first 2 corners, but then after that I do struggle to hit apexes. Lap 10 we are going to go into the pits, so as we pit we've got Vettel just ahead of us, Stroll right behind us. Where can we come out? We need some open air, and we need to be aggressive to get ahead of Stroll and maybe Vettel with a bit of luck.
Look after these tyres now.
Out we come. We do get open air. We do get open air out of the pit stop because Mazepin is out of the race from the looks of it. There's a yellow flag by him on the...
Some information on Mazepin. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
And indeed, he is out of the race on lap 11. And now on lap 13, we are really pressing to the back of the group now. We've done really well to get to this stage in 2 laps. We've just been really aggressive on the tyres. Again, my plan here is let's be aggressive early on. We're going to go for the overtake on Tictum, and he almost tries to block us off. We've got the clearly faster car, and he's tried to block the team owner out of an overtake.
Ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
And then into turn 1, we go for a dive bomb on Alonso and just squeeze that through and into 18th we go. And then now we've got Mick Schumacher up next as we come round turn 4 up turn 3, sorry, up to turn 4, and then into this turn 5, which I always avoid the inside line, but not this much. We're going to go all the way around the outside of Mick into the chicane. We're side by side. This is not a place you want to be side by side, and eventually we do just about enough to get Schumacher out of that position. And now we're going to chase down Latifi on lap 16 down the main straight,
Wind is 3.3 seconds.
and quite easily outbrake Latifi into turn 1 and accelerate away from him. And we had a 3-second gap to Russell, but 1 lap later Russell and Raikkonen are pitting,
Daniel is coming in for his stop.
as is our teammate. So that sees us in a good position. 14th. We've still got a few people ahead of us to pit, including the Aston Martins. But George Russell out of the race now. Let's have a look. It's just an engine failure. We don't know what part of the engine, but that must be very disappointing. But now on lap 18 we go past Giovinazzi, Ocon, and most importantly we go past Stroll in their pit
P11,
stops.
You've taken P11.
And with Stroll caught in the pits as we fly past.
Yellow flag.
It's fantastic for us. Lap 18 now, we go past Ricardo. Vettel is on the exit here, and we're past Vettel as well. The undercut has done wonders for United Racing as we pass both Aston Martins. You can see Vettel there coming round turn 1. And we've got a good 2.5 second gap-ish ahead of him. And that at this stage, I believe, is everyone's pit stops done for the race. And we are in a great position to pick up a point or two here.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
You can see now on lap 22, we've got a nearly 3-second lead over Vettel. Stroll is 6.5 seconds behind. Of course, our tyres are going to die off a lot sooner. But at this point, hopefully, we can just manage the tyres. Even if Vettel gets past us, as long as we keep Stroll back there, we should be okay. Sainz is coming out of the pits as we come down the straight on 23. But we're not going to challenge him for position. We're just going to sit in his slipstream, follow him as long as we can. On fresh tyres, it would be more detrimental to our race than it's ever going to reward us to challenge the Ferrari. So we've got no intention of doing so. And then lap 27 here, as we come round turn 3, you can see here Ricciardo has gone past Stroll and he's quickly closing down Sebastian Vettel. Is he going to be a threat to us?
6.9 seconds. We're leading our teammate by 39.7 seconds.
As we come into turn 1, you can see here Ricciardo is now ahead of Vettel. 2.3 seconds to Ricciardo. He's going to be right on our backs any moment now with the speed he's got. And on lap 30, you can see he's right in our rear view mirror. He has pulled away from Vettel though. So Vettel isn't a problem to us at the moment. We've got 5 laps to go where hopefully we can make our tyres last that long. But Ricciardo is going to be a problem here. I think what we're going to have to do is just let him go. His tyres are much fresher. His car is much faster. And if we try and battle him, we might just end up letting Vettel back into the battle and then lose out on points altogether.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
So down the straight here, Ricciardo goes for... I mean, even if we wanted to defend, we wouldn't have done anything against that. It was just so easy for him in that McLaren. So we're going to, again, sit in his slipstream as much as we can. As we come on to lap 32, we've just seen Ricciardo get fastest lap of the race, which really shows the pace he's got.
This is your final lap of the race.
And on the final lap, we've still got 1.7 seconds ahead of Vettel. We're just going to take it quite easy around this final lap of the race. Make sure we don't get a third track limits warning and, you know, give up 10th place. Max Verstappen has won the race, but we could be on for points for point in Hungary if we can just hold on. But the final half of the lap or so, we've had no problems with that turn 4, in turn 5 I should say, which in truth is just because I've avoided getting too aggressive on it. I know if you catch that inner curb on that corner, you just lose the back end every time. So we just really made sure we didn't go near it. And now, coming around the final few corners into turn 13, there's nothing Vettel can do to stop us picking up a point here. Into turn 14, and it is going to be a singular point for United Racing that pulls us a little bit further ahead of Alpine.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It's not particularly pretty, but it doesn't matter. So fantastic way to pick up a point for us. Ricciardo was just unstoppable on those mediums. I do wonder what would have happened had he not had to pit on the first lap. I think he would have just been further along the track than us to begin with. So I don't think it affected our race too much. We would have still been battling the Aston Martins. But it's great that we can see ourselves battle them and come out on top. Of course, we were leading them in Britain as well at Silverstone until the gearbox failure. This time the car doesn't fail us and we pull out a fantastic result from the back of the grid to finishing in 10th with, I think, the second worst car on the grid at the moment.
Let's have a look then at the
So,
drivers' standings.
fantastic result for us. Dan, again, did nothing. He finished at the back, which
I have to give it to Ace. There was a lot
I'm
going
struggling
on
to
down
justify
the field, but they were the
giving
only
him a
ones
new
who
contract, if I'm being
overcome
honest.
their potential.
Bar Mazepin and Latifi, he's bottom of the driver standings, but we do move an extra point away from Alpine, 10 points ahead of them now. But I also think they've got more potential to pick up points than we have. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Comment what you think we should be aiming for in Belgium in the next Grand Prix. We've got the season break in the middle, but on video there won't be much of a break between the two, I hope. And subscribe if you're enjoying the content on the channel. Thank you very much for watching.